Is it because I'm standing behind you?
No, partly. No, we just had the world was barking.
When the world barks, who answers?
People of the world, every boy and every girl.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there.
That's true, and I am wearing milk-bone underwear.
All right, I'm getting serious now. I took off my helmet. Apparently it was distracting to some of the players, so I took off my helmet. I'm no longer as safe as I once was.
I still think you're a safe bet. Remember, kids, safety is sexy.
Well, what is it they say? I'd rather have a helmet and not need it than need it and not have one. I think that's what they were talking about is helmets, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Novel Blonde taking the gem on this time. Shannon the Cannon giving her the gears at just before the whistle. I wonder what she said to her.
I have a feeling it wasn't, hey, pal, let's have a good jam. Novel Blonde, despite the intimidation tactics, picks up lead jam.
Novel Blonde striking through the inside in the stretch, picks up 5. Big points up on the board for CRDA AllStars. Now sitting above the 200-point mark as we enter into the first minutes of the second half.
And before the world can put any more points up on the board, jam was called off.
Penalty box is empty at this point in Jam 2 for our second half. Diesel Duchess and Chris My Ass taking the jam line once again.
I'm glad penalties don't count during halftime because a lot of what I said was probably offside.
I'm sure there were at least 7. You would have been expulsionized from the game by now.
Exculpated.
Chris My Ass with the victory in the jam war. Picks up lead jam this time. HP Lovecraft trying to lay the big shoulder on Chris My Ass. 4 more points up on the board for CRDA AllStars. 28 minutes left to play in the second half. Tron and Moulin Brews, normally teammates, actually. I think they're both Thrash and Lassies, actually.
That is true. It's almost a crime to see teams torn asunder for this all-important game, CRDA versus the world.
World.
Sorry, I got to remember to do that. CRDA versus the world.
Moulin Brews getting forced all the way back to the jam line. Tron picking up lead jam this time for the world. Coming around corners 3 and 4. Moulin Brews getting forced back again behind corner 2. Tron looking for some points. Approaches the back of the pack in the stretch. Gets forced down to a knee and to the outside briefly. Moulin Brews now free of the pack. Both jammers in a point scoring position. Damage control for Tron. 3 more points up on the board. The world sitting at 26. Hockey Beaten and Lockjaw Lila taking the jam line this time. It's a 5-on-5 as they get started in Jam 4. Both jammers looking to divide and conquer. Chrissy Cruiser, Scarlet Maiden, and Barely Legal holding Hockey Beaten back at the back of the pack as they creep past corner 1.
Lockjaw Lila did pick up lead jam.
Motor Vader and Shannon the Cannon both headed to the penalty box That's going to make it 5-on-3 for the CRDA All-Stars. Lockjaw Lila facing off against Gentilly Laced and Diesel Duchess there as she entered corner 3. Making it look easy, putting 5 more points up on the board.
And with a little do-si-do, grabs another 5 points. I say do-si-do not in tribute to the Calgary Stampede, but simply because that's what she did, damn it. And another 5 points there for the All-Stars, or the CRDA All-Stars. I keep forgetting that both teams are All-Stars.
Pack holding steady now in corner 1. 5-point natural grand slam for Lockjaw Lila. Hockey Beaten still struggling at the back of that pack. Make her initial pass. Barely Legal forcing Hockey Beaten back almost to the jam line. She's got Barely Legal and Sinistar both to deal with just past the pivot line.
That was just mean of them. They pushed her out and then they moved back, so she had to go all the way back. That's not buds. And with 5 more points there for the All-Stars, Lockjaw Lila. I think the time ran out. Not so much the call off the jam.
I believe that was the full 2 minutes. Tron and Novel Blonde taking the jam line in white and blue respectively. Penalty box still empty. It's a 5-on-5 as we start jam 5 in second half.
Novel Blonde picks up lead gem after some really solid blocking by the World. Tron also through the pack. Sometimes it just feels like the World is just in your way and putting up roadblocks.
One point apiece for both teams at the end of jam 5. 23 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the second half. The World putting up a fight. CRDA All-Stars holding that lead, though. Got a pretty decent stretch on them there. Chris Mayas and Diesel Duchess facing off at the jam line, shoulder to shoulder once again.
Chris Mayas gets lead jam after some big shoulder there from Shannon the Cannon.
Pack holding steady in corner 1. Diesel Duchess holding her nose. I think she may have taken a hit there. Back block on Chris Mayas. That gives Diesel Duchess the power jam.
That's right. It's a power jam.
No lead, but she is free of the pack now and in a scoring position. Diesel Duchess making huge strides to catch up to the pack in corner 3. Susie Smoke Show and Scarlet Mame holding Diesel Duchess back in corner 4, trying to force her to either the inside or the outside, and successful. Smoke Show and her teammates sending Diesel Duchess all the way back to corner 3.
That was a classic example of the booty block, only this time a duo booty block. Slam is on with a big hit there on Chris Mayas. And Chris Mayas on her way to the penalty box.
Yeah, cut truck penalty there. She really was trying to hold on, not get forced to the outside, but unfortunately couldn't hold it. Is headed to the penalty box. Diesel Duchess with power jam once again. On her toe stops, sneaking by the jam line.
Not sneaking by Scarlet Mame, though. She got past her, but only after taking some good, solid hits. Picking up 5 points for the World.
Susie Smoke Show with a cut track penalty is headed to the penalty box as well. Hang out with Chris Mayas. 3 additional points for each team on the board at the end of that jam. Number 6, CRDA All-Stars sitting at 261. The World at 40. Just under 21 minutes left to play in the second half.
The World at 40. That's like my autobiography title. Chantilly Lace lining up to jam for the World.
That'll be my autobiography. That'll be my book title in 10 years, I'm sure. Gently Laced with lead jam this time. I think this is her first time to the jam line, actually, for the World. I could be wrong, but
I think you're right, actually. One thing we definitely are learning is that you can't stop the World.
yeah, the World is changing things up all the time.
Just keep on turning and turning and turning. And Gently Lace calls off the jam.
One more point up on the board for the World, as it turns out. Tron and Moulin Bruce facing off against each other one more time. Moulin Bruce with lead jam. Once again, the pack moving into the stretch. Tron trying to make her way past Twitchblade at the front. She picked up a cut track penalty in the process. Headed to the penalty box. That gives Moulin Bruce the power jam. She's got to face off against Shannon the Cannon and Hockey Beaten, though, as well as Socrates and Danny Goat Gruff.
Shannon the Cannon putting her body on the line to stop Moulin Bruce. Slows her down, but Moulin gets through, picks up 5 points.
Twitchblade headed to the penalty box there. World holding a wall at the front. Shannon the Cannon and Hockey Beaten trying to hold that front wall. Successfully holding Moulin Bruce back. Tron now through the pack, making her way around. Moulin decides enough is enough, calls it off. 4 points up on the board. 8 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the second half. I don't know about you, Jim, but I'm mighty thirsty.
I also am thirsty. If only there was a beer garden somewhere in the arena. What's that? There's one right over there, and they sell $5 Wild Rose beer and other assorted drinks. Why, what a great idea. Thanks for bringing
everything is just $5 each. If you're thirsty, that's a good place to go. If alcoholic beverages are not your thing, there's also the cantina or the food truck outside.
It's like Grandma used to always say, everything's coming up delicious. My grandma was a weird lady. Slam is on, gets through the pack. So that's 4 more points there picked up by the CRDA All-Stars. Cementing that lead.
World changing things up a little bit. Denny go there on the jam line, facing off against Novel Blonde this time.
For the record, that was Danny Goat Gruff. I'm not sure why your microphone keeps censoring you.
Maybe you thought I was swearing. Susie's forearm penalty. Novel Blonde with lead jam now. The pack disintegrating between corners 1 and 2. Danny Go Gruff getting forced almost all the way back to the pivot line.
Massive hit there on Danny Goat Gruff by Barely Legal.
Did you see that? Novel Blonde, like, I'm sure she was rolling on the edge of two wheels there as she sneaked through in corner one to hold on and make that pass.
I totally did not see that. I was busy watching the hit. It's all about priorities, and I like watching hits. 5 points picked up by Novel Blonde there for the CRDA All-Stars.
Susie Smoke Show forcing Danny Goat Gruff all the way back, almost to the jam line.
And 5 points there picked up by CRDA.
Motivator picked up an out-of-play penalty. He's going to spend some time in the penalty box for the world. Ooh, big shoulder hit from Susie Smoke Show on...
Take it from me, that's why they wear knee pads. That sounded extremely solid, and if that was flesh on cement, that would have really, really hurt. But Danny Goat Gruff right back up. And there's the full 2-minute jam. Another 5 points picked up by the CRDA.
Just over 14 minutes left to play in the second half. Jam 11 coming up. Motivator starting this next jam in the penalty box. That means that the world only has 4 players to go with at the beginning of this jam. Chris Mayas and Tron shoulder to shoulder this time. Chris Mayas victorious with lead jam. The pack moving into corner 2 and down the stretch.
Chris Mayas picks up 4 quick points and calls off the jam.
Hey folks, if you've already got a beverage but you've got a sweet tooth and you're looking for something to snack on, make sure you head on over to the CRDA bake sale table. Lots of delicious goodies baked by the league members themselves. All proceeds go back into the league so we can put on events just like this.
Delicious goodies. Moulin Brews jamming for the CRDA All-Stars. She's up against Diesel Duchess from the world. I guess, actually, if there's an after party tonight at Dickens, it might just be a world party.
Will all nations be represented there?
Always.
Folks, just to remind you of some of our sponsors for CRD, we've got Rad Printing, who provides the programs and posters. We've got Dennis Plintz and Associates, scoreboard provided by TECC or Tech Consulting and Systems. Let's not forget Demonized Clothing, Carrie's Closet, the gals who donated those gift certificates from the contest there in the first half. Nerd Roller Skates, rollergirl.ca, Wicked Skatewear. Oh, big hit. Shannon the Cannon lays one on Susie Smoke Show as she breaks into the pack.
They do not call her Shannon the Cannon because of her similarity to a medieval siege weapon, but in fact because she can hit like crazy and she can go like a cannon.
She has lead jam as well. She's behind a little bit, but that's not going to stop her. She's going to use that lead to as much advantage as she can. Holding that inside line. Helped to mitigate some of that damage there. 4 points to 2 at the end of that jam.
It was actually it was sort of a cool moment at the end of that jam. Shannon the Cannon had run into basically every single person on the All-Stars and was off balance, and little tiny Chrissy Cruiser was right there to just give her that last little push over. Not that Chrissy isn't tough as nails, don't get me wrong. Tron skating against Novel Blonde. Novel Blonde picks up the lead jam.
Novel Blonde trying to use that lead as much as possible. 3 points up on the board. A 2-point advantage at the end of that jam. One for the world. Want to also thank folks, Bouncy Castle here today, provided by Playtime Rentals. And want to thank Radar Rentals as well. I think they sponsored by the chairs and tables and things like that.
That bouncy castle's just rad.
Bouncy castles are certainly fun.
If you have kids or have eaten way too much sugar, it's a great way to enjoy the rest of your CRDA experience. Meanwhile, Chris My Ass picks up lead jam.
Two points awarded for CRDA AllStars at the end of that jam. The world shut out at that point. Tron and Moulin Brews back up to the jam line. Folks, don't forget to go visit the vendors. We got about less than 10 minutes left to go in the second half. There's a bit of a break between the games. You're going to want to go say hello to Amanda at the Arbonne table. Amanda at the South Hill Design Jewelry. Megan at the Tallulah Lost. Femme Fatale and Fangirl Gang. Pins, patches, and magnets table. Moulin Brews with lead jam as she comes around corner 3 and 4. The pack disintegrating in corners 1. Moulin Brews making it look easy, picks up 5 points. Natural grand slam. Both jammers now free of the pack in a point scoring position. Moulin's gonna try and finish it off on a high note. 3 additional points at the end of that jam for the All-Stars. 8 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in this second half.
Thank you, Dick Pounder, for all that you do.
Thank you for being a friend, traveling down the road and back again.
His heart is true. He's a pal and a confidant.
And looks nothing like an old lady.
Under that beard, maybe. I wonder if this is all going to go to Lady Speedstick's head now that she's already coached the world.
She's kind of humble, I think. You know.
She was kind of humble.
Hey, it's a timeout. We should mention again that Vasily's Greek food truck is outside. If you're hungry and want some of the Greek, that's where you got to go. Also, there's food available at the canteen here in the house and the CRDA bake sale. Don't forget about the after party a little later on tonight at Dickens Pub. Fantastic food there as well and more beverages. If you're looking for something alcoholic, you can head on over to the beer garden, show your ID. $5 for anything that they offer over there.
Also, if you're looking for an alcoholic, I will be available after the half.
Just to answer questions?
Absolutely. You know, just let you know. Lockjaw Lila picks up lead jam.
Big hit from Mamacita Muerte on Shannon the Cannon as she comes into corner 3 and 4.
And it always blows my mind. You see these massive hits, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. I'm still skating.
They anticipate it. They know how to take a hit as well as give one. That's why I wouldn't mess with any single one of them.
Oh, yeah, they're like each and every one of them is Texas. Don't mess with Texas.
Lockjaw Lila getting some help from Twitch Blade and Roadhouse Brews as she sneaks through on the outside in corner 4. Another 5 points up on the board for the CRDA All-Stars. Big hit on Gentilly Laced in corner 3. Four additional points on the board for CRDA All-Stars. 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to play. The world sitting at 48 points. So close to the half-century mark.
Sometimes you see things as an announcer that just make you giggle. Novel Blonde jamming for a CRDA up against Diesel Duchess for the world. Both groups of blockers just doing a solid job of shenanigans to make the jammer work really hard. Diesel Duchess gets through, picks up that lead jam.
Novel Blonde picked up a cut track penalty there. Accidental, obviously. She's going to head to the penalty box. At least 30 seconds. Oh. Ladies and gents, just to remind you, this is a contact sport. Sometimes things do happen. We just ask your patience for a quick moment while our emergency medical staff make sure that she's okay. Looks like Terrifying is going to be okay.
We don't just have tough skaters on the track. We also have very, very tough skaters reffing for us. And
yeah,
Terrifying earns every second of that nickname. Scares the piss out of me.
I think both didn't really know the other one was there, and it happens from time to time.
Yeah, that is what the late, great Ed Whalen would have called a malfunction at the junction.
That's right. All right. So 6 minutes and 18 seconds left to play on the clock in this second half. Another full game of roller derby coming your way. We're going to have a short break at the half. And then stick around, folks. You're going to want to see there's a burlesque demo coming up at the halftime of the second game.
And of course, we got our after party. Let's not forget. That's going to be rad fun times at Hang the DJ at Dickens Pub. If you want to go find out more about the fine folks and the activities at Dickens Pub, you can go have a conversation with Chuck E. Deadman in the beer garden. He's that dapper, suave-looking fella over there, looking all dapper and suave. No, not me.
It goes without saying. It goes without saying. All right. So yes, you're in luck, Calgary. An award-winning fitness company, Burlesquercise, is in the house. They are here to give you a little taster of the art of the tease, burlesque style. And like I say, that'll be coming up at the halftime in the second game. But the gals are over there to answer all your questions. If you're interested in Burlesquercise, started about 7 years ago, currently running 2 Calgary locations, and they take all shapes, sizes, and experience, ranging from ages 18 to 80. So if you're interested at all in Burlesquercise, you're going to want to go chat to those gals. They got tons of information, and they want to see you doing what they do. And who knows, you could come back to another roller derby bout and be showing the Burlesquercise to the crowd.
Absolutely. I'll go the extra mile here. I'm just going to say I have a few friends who've taken Burlesquercise with this group. It's a ridiculously good workout, and it's also really just like a fantastically empowering thing. It's just really cool, and I'm always happy to support those guys. They're fantastic.
Yeah, it says these low-impact classes incorporate concepts from jazz, ballet, Pilates, and Latin, and are geared to improve your general fitness level, all while laughing your guts out loud. I guess giggling is a prerequisite.
Absolutely.
You must be able to giggle.
When they say Latin, that means like the dance and not the language, so you don't have to worry about conjugating verbs in a foreign language. They're
That's
not
right.
about that.
Thank goodness. Yeah, I think we have 4 dancers actually that are going to be doing that here coming up.
And if you're sitting around with a bunch of extra money in your pocket after this game, there's something that you have the opportunity to do. You can go to the Vasily's food truck and buy food not just for yourself, but you can feed the world.
That's right. They'll be hungry after this game, I'm sure.
See how I did that? Instinct, man, instinct.
You can solve world hunger.
Totally. They're going to be hungry after this match. Solve world hunger. Buy a skater some food. You can also solve world backaches. So the officials had a little confabulation there, and they decided that that last little piece of action, Novel Blonde was found to be grossly misconducted, and as a result, she has been ejected from the game. Not that she's bad people, but it's just one of those, at all times the skaters have to be aware of what's going on, and there are prices we pay.
Yeah, it's really important to note if you're new to roller derby that safety is the #1 priority for both the officials and the skaters. So sometimes things like that happen. Like you said, Jim, it's not that she's a bad gal. It happens sometimes. So
yeah, if I would have done it, it would have been a whole that's a bad person. But no, Novel Blonde's
the
pretty
cops
cool.
would have been here
again. No, I'm just kidding. That's never happened yet.
I thought it was funny that they knew you by the first name.
Pleading the fifth. So as a result of that, Tron is going to start off with the power start, possibly a power jam, depending on how successful she's able to.
It's important to note that Moulin Bruise will actually be serving the penalty for that. So she's in the penalty box. That's why Tron gets the power start.
And Tron's through the pack. That's going to be the lead jam for her, and therefore a power jam. And I do believe I see Susie Smoke Show humorously making her way to the penalty box. Tron capitalizing on that power jam, grabs 5 points.
Tron getting forced to the outside by Chrissy Cruiser in corner 2. She's got a reset behind the pack.
Lucy Flawless and Barely Legal doing a good job of penning Tron in. But she makes it through, grabs 5 more points.
Moulin Bruise back on the track now in a point scoring position, has made her initial pass. Tron decides to do some damage control, call it off before Moulin can pick up any more points for the AllStars. Now in the final 5 minutes of play in the second half, Bloody Maiden and Chris Mayas taking the jam line respectively. Penalty box is empty once again. It's a 5-on-5 as we get started in jam 20 for this second half. Chris Mayas picked up a forearm penalty. That's going to give Bloody Maiden the potential power jam if she can make it through cleanly. And she does on the outside of corner 3. Picks up lead jam and she has a power jam.
Power jam.
Roadhouse Brews, Twitchblade, and Mamacita Muerte making it super difficult for Bloody Maiden in corner 4 to get past. She's like a pinball getting tossed around in there.
But did a fantastic job of just like pushing holes in different directions to finally find that spot she can fit through.
Absolutely. Oh, she stretched that pack out as far as she could, looking for at least a no pack call so that she could pass through freely. Bloody Maiden picked up a forearm penalty, headed to the penalty box now, and Chris Mayas is back out on the track, engaging the pack. That wall of white, led by Diesel Duchess, only held her back temporarily. CRDA All-Stars holding back, trying to stretch that pack out, allowing to give Chris the no pack if possible. One last shoulder hit from Diesel Duchess at the front of the pack. 5 points up on the board for the CRDA All-Stars and Chris Mayas. Less than 3 minutes left to play in the second half. Pack holding steady now between corners 1 and 2. Bloody Maiden back on the track as well.
Just punching her way through the pack, grabs another, I believe that's 4 points. Yep, 4 points for the world.
As the clock ticks down, we'll probably only see 1 or 2 more jams in this game. Very hard-fought game by both of these teams. CRDA All-Stars trying some new things. The world bringing its best game to the track today. Shannon the Cannon facing off against Lila.
Lockjaw breaks through, grabs lead jam.
Shannon the Cannon accidentally cut the track there as she was coming into corner 3. That's not what the world needed at this time.
Because what the world needs now is love.
Sweet love?
Sweet love.
Ooh, baby.
Lockjaw Lila with a couple sneaky skating moves, picks up 5 more points for CRDA. And another 5 points there for Calgary. And Shannon the Cannon nailing the apex jump.
That's what the crowd likes.
Getting an awesome high five there from Sinistar.
You know, I hate to be the guy to say I told you so, but I remember seeing Shannon, one of Shannon's very first games, and going, that's someone you're going to have to watch. Because the agility and the power behind her play is just unreal. Always amazed by that. Even though she doesn't like my helmet.
You know what, though? You can't fault her for having decent taste.
Very true. Sour Cherry picked up an illegal procedure penalty right off the whistle. I think probably engaging right before the whistle. That'll give you a penalty every time.
Moulin Bruce picks up lead jam.
In what will be the last jam of the game, the clock is ticked down all the way to 0. This is the world's last chance to catch up. If I were a betting man, they probably aren't able to do it at this point. Well, there you have it. The last tap of the game.
So our unofficial final score, Calgary 381, the world 72.
The unofficial score at the end of 2 30-minute halves of play, 381 for CRDA All-Stars, 72 for the world. We'll wait for the official score from our officials, officially, momentarily.
Officialiciously.
Yeah. Until then, hang tight, folks, and you're going to want to come back in about 10 minutes. We're going to get started on the second game. Don't go away. Grab a snack, hit the washroom, then a beverage. Whatever you got to do, make your way over to the beer garden if that's in your agenda. We'll see you back in about 10 minutes.